psychic story time about how you.
Okay, here it is. Here it is. We're going to be talking about psychic story time, since a lot of people always have questions asking me about being a psychic. So I have my friend Lulu here, and she's going to ask me some questions to help me out and start me off because I get so nervous on camera. Oh my God. Okay, ask me. What question do you have, Lulu?
How did you realize you were a psychic?
How did I realize I was psychic? It's more of when did I realize I was a psychic? I didn't know that it was called a psychic with the abilities that I had. People around me was always told by other psychics that I was psychic. They never really told me outright. When I was told outright by a psychic that I was psychic, I didn't believe her. Because in my mind, a psychic was this really spiritual person and, you know, kind of like somebody that was in the church, that was like the pastor of the church or the mother of the church or something. I thought that, you know, a psychic was basically holier than thou because they worked with God. So I didn't think I was a psychic. Well, not that I didn't work with God and I worked with the devil. It was none of that. I was just never was like, I ain't ready to give up cussing. I ain't ready to give up twerking. You know, the worldly things. I wasn't ready to give that up, and I felt like, you know, being a Christian in the church, heavy in the church, like how I see my grandmother, granny was, and stuff like that. I thought I wouldn't have to be like that, and I didn't want to be like that. So I didn't think that I was psychic. And then the things that other psychics were saying that they were, how they were giving readings and how they were talking, that's not how I was perceiving things at the time. And even now, that's not how I was perceiving things, you know. So to go back to, you said how I knew I was psychic. Shit. I don't really remember a specific time off the top of my head when I knew that I was a psychic per se. I don't know. But I do know that I've always had these abilities that I found out later in life, I would say in my 20s, that they were unusual. That it wasn't the same thing that everybody else was getting. I thought what I had was what my mom always said was common sense. She used to always be like, girl, use your damn common sense. You can't be that goddamn stupid. You ain't dumb. I know you ain't. You just got to grow your common sense. So I remember always trying to concentrate on growing my common sense and using my common sense. So I always thought that's what it was my common sense. Even when I heard people like, oh, your sixth sense. I was like, yeah, that's your damn common sense. And that's what I'm going to use. So when I would hear things, when I get around people or I see things on their face or just whatever, I used to always be like, oh, that's my common sense. And it wasn't like I hear that other psychics that are clairaudient that they hear spirit voice like their voice. It sounds just like their voice. But for me, it doesn't sound like my voice. It's never sounded like my voice. It's always sounded like somebody else's voice, like your voice, Lulu. It sounds like you talking to me, but it was within my ear, but it wasn't you leaning over whispering is the best way I can explain it. But it sounded natural. Very seldomly it sounds clear. And I'm learning now that was because it depends on how high I'm vibrating, how relaxed I am and things like that. The clearer the voice is to me. Yeah. So yeah, I really didn't answer that question because I don't know.
That's fine.
Yeah.
How are they first starting to come to you, like the spirits and everything like that? What were like some of the first things that like you heard or saw?
Oh man, we're gonna have to break that down into another video, but I'll give you a little bit of it and then it can be another story time. But that came when the earliest I can actually remember stuff is when I was like a baby in a crib. when I was older, and it didn't come to me like as a dream. It was like a memory that I would have of my childhood, that I remember like in the crib and feeling this way and seeing this around the room and things like that or whatever. And I confirmed that with my mom. My mom was like, holy shit, how did you know that you was a baby? And then she would go on and be like, blase, blase, blase. But still, even at that point, she didn't say, well, damn, you're psychic. You know, she didn't say anything to me about it. She was just like, oh, wow, that's amazing that you remembered that as a baby. Do you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of swept under the rug. But yeah, I remember recalling something all the way back in the damn crib. And I remember, you know, not being able to talk, but I had these feelings and emotions of it.